And welcome back to the Fashion Icon. Today we have her back, Wilina, and all of her personalities, if you know what I mean, type of thing. The 5'5" dynamo on the runway that is bigger than I don't know what, but welcome back, girl. Good to see
Thank
you.
you. Good to see you too. I am so happy to be here with you, with all of these beautiful ladies.
I know I have that effect on people. You see, I can tell jokes.
Oh my God.
But anyhow, I mean, some of the girls don't know you, obviously. So tell them a little bit about you and your other personas.
Okay, so hola everybody. My name is Wilina Rodriguez, and I am a professional model as well as a model trainer, actress, and now I am pivoting into music. But today we're gonna be talking about modeling because that's what we're here for. I have been a professional model for 10 years now. And I gotta say, I have loved the journey, even though it has had very hard moments of it. But life is all about ups and downs. And what's important is the attitude that we have towards everything that happens in life, right? So there is a very positive side to the industry as well as a dark side, just like everything, good and bad. But you have to learn to see the good in it because that is what has gotten me through my entire career without losing myself, without falling and never getting back up. Yes? So I started in 2016 with a pageant. I started in pageantry. I did not know how to walk. I did not know how to pose. I didn't know anything. Anything. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to start from 2 years before that because I gave modeling a try in 2014. But back then, I was not embracing my uniqueness, which is this is my uniqueness. You have beautiful curly hair. You have beautiful curly hair. You know, so do you. You know, if you have beautiful curly hair, embrace it because that is your true essence. You know, I was not embracing this. So I looked like somebody that was trying to be someone I was not. And therefore, I was not standing out, you know, because I was not securing my own skin. So it did not work out for me for that reason. So I gave myself an entire year and a half break. And I went ahead and transitioned to curly hair. I started to learn to love myself and just tell myself positive things so, you know, I could become more confident in my own skin. And that definitely helps. So, guess what? After I was done with my curly hair transition, somebody reached out to me. I didn't have to come looking for no opportunities. They saw what I was already radiating, which was natural beauty and confidence on
which
camera.
which really goes back to what the two other guests, you know, Isabella and Diana, were talking about being genuine, okay, being yourself and loving yourself, okay. That you need to find who you are, okay, and work with what you have rather than to see the lack that you have. Focus on what you have, who you are. And I'm glad that she touched that first because it's so important.
Yes. So like I said, somebody reached out to me. It was a pageant director. He said, "I love your look. You're the only curly girl in my whole team of girls that are participating in the pageant." And then I joined the pageant, and through that pageant, I met a model coach. And then she had this photographer friend that when he saw me on the pageant page, he was like, "I want to shoot that girl right there. She's embracing herself. She just looks different to me." It's not that there is no other women that have my skin tone, my hair, but he saw something different in me because I was embracing who I really was. So he called me in for a photo shoot, and I had no idea what I was doing, but he was guiding me on how to pose, and he was telling me, you have the look, you have natural talent for it, And I was following directions very well. He would tell me, put your hand here, there, now lean your back. And we worked through it. And then he kept calling me back every single week. And that photographer helped me build a portfolio in order to get me started in the modeling industry. That I'm always going to be grateful for the people that were there in my beginnings pushing me. So I went to modeling school for about 3 months. However, I was not necessarily guided in the way that I feel a model should be guided, which is why I do this now. Because I didn't have somebody in the beginning to tell me how things work, how to do this, how to do that. The first step that a model should do is shoot digitals. Why didn't I shoot digitals? Because nobody guided me to shoot digitals. Digitals can even be done with your phone. This is something as simple as that, and nobody told me.
This is the reason why we do these seminars. So professional like Wilina, Isabella, Diana, they share their story, how you know that it's easier than you think when you do it with the right people. That's the reason that I started the podcast, is really to disseminate, to give information, to empower other girls to know that you can do it, whether you want to do it as a part-time or professionally, that it can be done. These are living proof girls like her that you can do. That's why, like some of you girls ask, they don't even know what a composite was, a Seth card, none of that stuff. So later on, we're going to have and build up, and I'm going to give you a lot of stuff in writing so you know how we can help you. Whether it's me creating a portfolio and composites for you, or Lena or Isabella giving you the right coaching for you. Because there's a lot of coaches out there, but you need to find the one that resonates with you,
Yes.
the one that's going to help you in that specific journey. Even in pageant coaches, you may have a coach and the coach is great, but not great for the pageant that you're working. Okay? They may be coaching you for pageant walk, and you really need a runway walk for modeling, which is totally different.
Yes.
Okay? So it's, what she's saying is, and I'm so glad that Wilina is saying it, that it's finding yourself and getting the right help.
Yes. So that photographer helped me build a portfolio, and I went to modeling school for 3 months, didn't guide me the right way. So I had to learn all of these things with my own, with my own.
Yeah, you went out with your own experience,
Exactly.
and you went out.
I was on my own, pretty much. Yes. And then 1 year later, I went ahead and got reached out for another pageant. Another pageant director reached out to me, so I did that other pageant, Miss RDUS, I believe it was. And that was not a good experience because they sold the crowns. They do that. In some pageants, they sell the crowns, and then the other girls that are there participating are just wasting their time, and they have no idea what is going on. Then they were like, I gave it my all. Why didn't I get anything, And it's because some pageants are like that. Not all of them, because I've also had good experiences. But then 2 years later, I did another pageant, which was the Misses of DR. Another bad experience. So then I moved to Florida. And
DR, for those of you that are not familiar, is Dominican Republic.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Miss Dominican Republic. So then in 2019, actually 2021, I moved to Florida. And I got reached out by another pageant director. And she told me we have a division for supermodels. So we have a Miss International World Supermodel title. The Miss International World organization holds different divisions for like classics, teens, Little Miss International World, and this and that. So I was running for the supermodel division for that one. Amazing experience. I ended up winning that title, and because of that, I also won a lot of magazine covers and billboards in different cities and states. So to me, that was that was a moment that I was very proud of, because all of my hard work was paying off. I had been doing it since 2016, so that's like 5-6 years later. So, and the funny thing, believing in yourself is so important because taking it back to 2017, in the pageant interview, they asked me, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And the first thing that popped in my head was, I see myself in billboards and magazines like the Supermodels.
So you manifested it.
I spoke it into existence, yes. And then 4.5 years later, I start to get billboards. My first billboard was in 34th Street in Macy's in New York. I had a billboard there. Then they brought me to the red stairs, like the big, long billboards.
57th and Broadway.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And then I had some here in Miami. I had some in Hollywood, California, in Las Vegas.
See,
It was amazing.
This is the kind of thing that I need you, not want you, that I need you to understand that oftentimes you do all the work, you do all the grind, okay? And I always, and I know that someone's going to remember this, it's like a bamboo tree. A bamboo tree grows 5 years underground. And then in 6 weeks, it grows 80 feet.
It's a foundation that you're
5
building.
years growing in the dark. And then in 6 weeks, it just shoots up 80 feet. And that's what it is. You cannot build a building on the Everglades without a good foundation. You have to have a foundation. All the troubles that Isabella went through, it took her 12 years to get to where she's at now. I mean, she wasn't as involved as her, but it took her about 5 years to get in connected. Now, once you do that, okay, and she's going to tell you about, you know, how she started making the network, connecting the dots, and growing.
For me, the network was pretty much people reaching out to me based on previous work. Like, let's say I do a photo shoot with you, and then the hashtags, because back then hashtags were a big thing. So the hashtags, when other photographers were looking through them, they would see my photos and reach out to me. Like, hey, I would like to do a collaboration or this or that. When I no longer was doing collaborations, I would just go straight to the point. Hey, my rate is this, you know? Because it got to the point where I already knew what I was doing, so I started to charge, you know, because all of my hard work has to pay off in a financial way as well.
If you don't value yourself,
Yes.
no one else is going to value you. Number one. Number two, when one of the things that I tell the girls is like, look, someone reaches out to you for a collaboration, you don't go out in my way say how much you're going to pay me. There are definite ways that you can do that, okay? And you can say, hey, I would love to work with you. What would the compensation be? You're asking the same thing. You're saying how much you're going to pay me, but it's not how much you're going to pay me.
Yeah.
Sounds aggressive, kind of nasty, but you say, what is the compensation going to be? Oh, no, but, you know, you have to realize that, you know, I have the gas, I have the makeup that I have to get ready and all that stuff, plus the experience. You know, you can get a girl that has no experience and try to get it done with that. You're not going to get inspired. You're going to get frustrated. You're not going to get what you're looking for. I'm going to work with you.
Yes.
You need to value yourself, which is something that, you know, and at the end of the day, you know, imagine if I would collaborate with all of you guys here. I'm going to tell my landlord, hey, you want to collaborate with me?
On the rent.
You know, no, I got to pay the rent, the light bill, and all that stuff. So we give when we give, but at the end of the day, it is a business, okay? So, and that's, you have to value yourself, and that's one of the things that she's sharing with you, how to become a professional model is more than just a pretty face.
Yes, 100%.
How
And
did you compensate for your height?
I compensated for my height by training myself very hard, nonstop, like every single day, 10 minutes, practicing runway in front of a mirror, and just getting really good at it to the point where they see me walking there, they don't even think about, oh, she's too short. They just think, wow, she got a strong walk. You know? So I compensate by that, by being disciplined, by being easy to work with model. You know that when I work with a client, they always want to call me back because I bring great energy and I deliver. So that was the hardest part, but I overcame it, which is the important part of it.
Okay, so what advice would you give to a young girl that started into modeling? Let's focus on the modeling. What the top 5 advices that you can give one of these girls on how to prepare to become a model?
Well, the first advice is get your digitals done. That is the first thing you have to be doing, getting your digitals done. For the digitals, one second. For the digitals, you don't even have to be trained in posing because the digitals are just straight shot of yourself so they can see what you look like, you know, with tight clothes, the body figure just straight, sideways, 3/4. That's how you say?
Yeah.
3/4, face, straight face, then
Back
one
in the
smiling.
days, they used to be called Polaroids because basically it's a simple photo that you take, pair of jeans, white shirt, nothing, very simple, front, side, back, 3/4, knees up, and face, okay? And you send that. Later on, I'm going to share with you one of the modeling agencies that is here that it actually shows you what it is that you need to do. Because after COVID, a lot of the modeling agencies, because you know they didn't have the connection in person, they started doing like all of the registrations were online. Okay, and now to the point that most agencies do it online. What we encourage a lot of the girls is to kind of like send them an email, register online, send them the digitals, send them a printed composite, call them, see that, because we are lazy. People are lazy in general. So if I have her constantly contacting me and they ask for someone that it resembles her more or less, I'm not going to look for anybody. Hey, I'm going to call this girl. She's been on me for a while. She's easy. Okay? She's accessible. Saves them time, gives someone else an opportunity. So that network is extremely, extremely important. What other advice do you have for them?
Before I jump to the next advice, she had a question.
He answered it.
Oh, okay, okay.
I was going to ask what a digital was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I jumped into it because the younger generation, they've never done it. They're not aware of what a digital
Okay.
is.
Okay. Easiest thing ever. My second advice is to train yourselves. Train yourselves, and you need a mirror. I cannot stress this enough. You need a mirror because a pose might feel okay, but then when you look at yourself, you look ridiculous. And you need to adapt your poses to your body type because what looks good on her might not look good on her because they have completely different proportions. You know what I mean? And you have to learn yourself, get to know yourself, get to know your body, your angles. Training is the only way to do it. Practice. It does not matter if you take one modeling class and then you go home and lay on your bed and scroll through TikTok. No. You learn something in your modeling class and then you go home and practice it. That's the homework always, because if you do not practice what you learn, you will forget it. And then when you come to a photo shoot, you will not know what to do.
Yeah, and on top of the mirror, I strongly suggest get that phone and videotape yourself. Why? Because I can tell you, you need to do this, but when you see yourself, you'll realize what Willina or whoever you're coaching with, or if you saw something online, what it really actually is. Okay, and a lot of the things per se is, it's someone tells you something, don't take it personal. Take it as contracted suggestion, even though they may be harsh. And something else that Willina said, do not compare yourself to the girl next door.
Oh, yeah.
She's a totally different person. Her body type, her skin color, the hair, you are two completely different persons. So that's very, very important. Those are great advices.
Yeah, and the best part about what he said with a phone is that you can set the phone in different angles because photographers go down, middle, high, you know what I mean? So you can see what you look like from every angle. And oh, maybe this pose looks good from this angle, but not from this angle. So you know to work with your photographers as well because if he's down there, you know you're not gonna do that pose
I
that don't
just
look so
did
good.
some poses with Isabella, and I was showing them.
Okay.
You know, because of that, because I'm the one, one of the ones that tends to like crawl and lay down and do all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff that most photographers don't do because I look for that angle. Okay. I did a photo shoot with her, a very impromptu photo shoot in Cape Coral when I went to her modeling school over there, and it was just regular lights in the lobby of the residence and stuff like that. But I was laying on the floor, I was going over here, doing all kinds of turns, and those photos with her and her daughter were like, wow, okay. And it was something simple, but I'm that guy, like the photographer that worked with Leilina at the beginning, that likes to get young, talented girls like you and work with you and guide you. Most photographers at the other levels, they're like, pose,
You guys are lucky.
and you better know what the poses are because you're like, oh, you don't know? Hey, just don't call this
Next.
girl. Don't call this girl anymore. Why? Because you waste time, and time is money.
Yes. I originally trained myself to be an editorial model, but then commercial is what works best for me because not only do you make the most money with it, yes, because every product needs a model to sell it. So the highest paying lane out there, but also because I get to use so many different parts of myself through it and I get to show emotions in a very different way. In editorial, you are more like pain, angry, this, that. With commercial, you get to be yourself. You get to
You
be
get
happy,
more relatable.
more relatable. I have been a hand model. Just my hand has been in shoots, like holding products or this or that. That's commercial work. I didn't even have to put makeup on. You know what I mean? And I have been a hair model. I have been a model for like skincare, for makeup, for clothes, for shoes, for jewelry, for a lot of different things. So with editorial, yes, I loved it, but I was very like limited to the things I was gonna do. And to be honest, the most popular one is commercial because to be honest, anybody can be a commercial model if they put in the work. Yes.
What's your dream brand to do a commercial for?
That is a good
Yeah,
question.
she's been dropping great questions throughout the whole seminar. She's the one that's been voicing out everybody and always nails it on the question.
That is a great question because some people would say, oh, Louis Vuitton or this or that. But to me, what means the most is being able to work with the upcoming brands and support them. So I honestly, I don't have like a big brand like that that I say, like, I see myself modeling their clothes.
I
You know
get
what
that
I mean?
question asked in the photography aspect, and everybody's like, what do you mean? The favorite question is like, so what's your favorite model? Or I've been to 69 countries. So what's your favorite country? Every country's got something, beauty. I see beauty everywhere. So, for me, it's like favorite model. Well, one was, but wasn't she that heavy? And it's just, but her energy, her aura, her face, she, came out and she just like, wow, and then so, but don't you, and it says, yeah, it's got nothing to do with that. It's like some girls are just cute and tender and some other ones are sexy and aggressive, the same thing. And I applaud you for that because a lot of the times that people want to go up to the higher brands, but I think that I would guess that knowing you, that in your life you will see more fulfillment working with that brand that's coming up.
Yes.
Like with Isabella, we had she got chosen by Giovanni Brand, which is the And her mom and I, we talked about it, and let's say, let's be realistic. Giovanni is not paying you for this. They took way too long to choose you, and you have this other brand that chose you and is paying you more.
But it's a small brand.
We went for the small brand. And
yeah.
now she's the face of the brand with a 2-year contract and all of that. And nothing with Giovanni's, great brand, but they took too long. And
Yeah.
then I guess that in value or whatever. And it happens. And that's what the industry is like. Whether it's Giovanni, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, they're going to go in there. You have to think what you're going to help out. So we're going to go ahead and one last advice before we go into it. We're going to do a little bit of segment of photo posing, and then we're going to go right into her strength, her passion, which is the runway. But before that, I want them to know just a tiny little bit about Alea.
Alea. Alea is an alter ego that lives within me, and she comes out every time I'm at the studio recording music or performing. She is an explosive persona, very confident, very sexy, and retarded at the same time. Retarded in a good way.
Okay, without
Like-
scaring them, give them like a 5-second little thing of Alea.
What you mean, Baron? Like, what we doing here? We all these beautiful girls?
She's a psycho.
A little bit. I like to go to the studio and performing. And I love Jimmy the Pollo.
Yeah, and you should hear her do the rapping.
She does the rapping. I don't. I'm too cute for that.
So she is a well-rounded talent. It's an amazing model. I just love to work with her because of her personality, her charisma, what she brings to the table. And that's what you want to do. What are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the runway? What are you bringing? What? Because in life, it's what you give. What you put in front of the mirror, that's what you're going to get back. If you don't put anything in front of the mirror is not going to reflect anything back. Okay?
Yes.
So,
last advice.
yes.
So I'm gonna do 3 in 1 to do it fast. First, no complaining. There is no, oh, my feet hurt. I don't like the makeup. My hair. These clothes. No. You are a mannequin. Do your job. Second advice, collaborations. Very important. Go to events, meet people, connect with photographers, connect with other models. Reach out. Don't be scared to reach out to photographers. If you are a beginner model, the easiest way to go about it is reach out to a photographer that you see that is also building a portfolio, and they will love to work with you. Different looks. They want to see you sexy. They want to see you serious. They want to see you in different outfits. And with those photos, my last advice, make a comp card, a composite card, which is like you have a headshot of yourself doing any sort of thing, and then we have 4 different pictures, and each picture portrays a different side of you so that your clients can see, oh, look, she can be sexy. Oh, she can also be high fashion. Oh, she can also be this and that,
Versatility
yes?
and
Versatility.
variety.
Yes.
This is a little bit off topic, but you started in the pageant industry. Was there any downfall that made you not want to continue in that industry?
In pageantry? Yes, definitely. All the bad experiences, such as like the crowns getting sold, pageant directors promising things they didn't keep for me, telling me, oh, you don't have to pay for anything, and then coming to me with a whole bill of like thousands of dollars. Yeah, that, yes.
When you were told no, how did you get back up? How were you recovered from that no?
The way I recovered every time I was told no, of course, I would go home and cry about it because I had to release it one way or another. And then I would just look at myself in the mirror like, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? But then thinking about it, I'm like, why am I letting these no's define the rest of my life? So then I look at myself once again, remember who I am. And I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make myself better. And that's how I got over it.
Remember what we were talking about, the triggers? Whatever your trigger is, on the zone, and it's like, I'm better than this. Okay?
What? Since you
Talk a little louder.
since you don't have a dream experience
I have dream experiences, but with the new path now. But you said what have been my greatest
What has been your greatest like
experience?
experience? Yeah.
Good question.
I'll tell you the answer. It was the last photo shoot with me.
Wow, that laugh is going to boom.
Yeah, it just blew out the chart. So what was your best experience? Was it in one of the commercials, in a catalog shoot, on a runway?
Ooh, I was literally thinking about a catalog shoot that I used to do with clients for a brand of like fitness wear. I did their catalogs for 3 years straight, and their photo shoots were always so fun, so fun. So that's definitely something that I will always remember. Unfortunately, I'm too old now to do they go for younger girls. So as soon as I I got a little older, they were like, "I'm so sorry, you're gonna not get used." I'm like, but runways. I have to say, I love runways, but they're not necessarily my favorite. Like the fashion shows are not my favorite, but I do love the time when I have to come out and show my outfit and then go back and change and go home. Yes, that.
Okay, so let's go ahead and show them a little bit about the post. Oh, what is social media? What is your Instagram? Even though we're going to go ahead and put it in there when the podcast comes out so they can follow you.
Why you pull your notebook away? Write down Instagram. My Instagram is Willina.Rodriguez. The way you spell my name is WILLINA and then dot Rodriguez. Y'all know how to spell Rodriguez?
You like Olivia Rodrigo?
Do you hear the noise back there? This is what you get when you come to Miami. The other thing is that she's also available to do private classes that we can do here, okay, in the studio, and we can talk about that if you ladies are interested. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up over to the other side so she can give us a few poses, limited because of the dress she's wearing. And then we're going to go to the runway.
Less is more. Get to the end of the runway, hand on the hip, other side, whoop, turn around, walk away. Now the turnaround, depending on which side you are, more different poses. There's also this one that I like that you do to one side, and then you cross the legs and do the other side, and then you turn around and leave. This works perfectly for when you have to walk centered, and then when you are turning around, you have to walk on this other side, right? Because then there's gonna be another model walking forward. And then one turn that I really like, that is super cute, is the 2 steps back. And for you, we have to make it girly looking, right? So guys usually will do like straight. For girls, you see how the same way we bend our knees to walk forward, same thing to walk back. So we can look very feminine, you know? So I'm here, I do my pose, step back, right? That is really cute for swimwear. That is really cute for a lot of things except for dresses. Because when we are doing dresses, gowns, for example, I cannot come here and do this pose. No! For gowns, it's a little more miss, but not so much miss because you are not looking at people and you are not doing all the things you do in pageants. But for gowns, you know, the poses are very, very elegant, very subtle, very T position, very formal. And then the turns can be, depending on your gown, you can go like this for the turn in gowns, or you can go around. Make a circle, a small one, and then walk away. Yes?